I put my fingers to my nose and smell the sweet scent of jasmine. It seems amazing that once I touched her, the scent never went away. I close my eyes, fist pressed tight against them, and through the stars I see her face. It seems amazing that once I touched her, the scent never went away. I lick at the tears as they tear down my face, and through the salt I can taste the essence of our sin. It seems amazing that once I touched her, the scent never went away. And through I can hear her sweet, sweet jasmine voice speaking to my soul, saying, I love you. Is it so amazing that I needed to only touch her once, and now I know her scent will never go away. Thank you. I am, as Rocky said, Fernando Quijano III, also known in certain circles as the Word Pimp. I have not, but if you like my writing, more than welcome to look with me. Find me to my process. Okay, so on that note, my latest piece, which I know not. I don't know what to call it. It's true, so it's not fiction. So for the benefit of all of you today, since this is a poetry series, we're going to call this a prose poem. It's called Looking for Lucy's, inspired by about 10 minutes on a subway platform in Baltimore. Anybody got a loose one? On the subway platform waiting for the train at Mondawmin, his tortured voice cuts through the typical murmurs that bleed over the mechanical silence. Loose ones! Loose ones! Anybody got a loose one? The call is just short of desperate. Granted, he's just high enough not to sound desperate. One murmur becomes clearly audible. Damn, they out late tonight. There is no they, just one lone addict coming off his fix, looking to feed a different craving. Tobacco. They is a pejorative here. The addict is being relegated to subhuman standards, not worthy of being an individual. Everyone knows what he wants. No one offers. If you live close enough to Lexington Market, close enough to find yourself there often, you learn the lingo. If you wait for a bus on the corner of Howard and Saratoga Street enough times, you will inevitably ask if you want to buy a Lucy or have one to sell. You may be confused at first, but when you finally see someone pop out a pack of cigarettes and exchange it for a few coins, it all becomes clear. Microeconomics, the soft sell of a soul cigarette. Anybody got a loose one? Now he was becoming more desperate. He had already made a lap of the platform, and with no luck, his call had transformed into a chant, an uncomfortable one with such energy I could sense everyone on the platform recoil, gather tighter, try to shield themselves from the discordance. Loose ones! Looking for a loose one! Anybody got a loose one? Now he was becoming more desperate. I'm no better. As he approaches me, I try to avert his gaze. I'm not trying to interact. I have my earbuds on, playing nothing. My shield against the world. But I also know better than to be completely unguarded. I observe him peripherally, notice the staggering cadence of his walk, his gray, unkempt crop. He looks old, but addicts can be deceiving. You never really know if one is old or just prematurely aged from constantly poisoning himself. He looks old, but mostly he just looks hollow, like his soul has been eaten away, leaving nothing but a drying husk. Shit! He's looking at me. Betrayed by my curiosity, I've inadvertently made eye contact. I don't know if I can handle this energy now. I've just spent the past couple of hours consulting an old friend, being the ear she needed, offering a shoulder and a bit of hope. I've had my fill of desperation for one day. Any more could be wounding. Leave me so raw that I'll spend the next few days in self-induced solitary, hiding from the world in a bed I'll be unable to sleep in. Just toss, pretending to sleep will come eventually. Loose one, he asked. His eyes were hollow. His gaze dying, not dead, not yet. I take a deep breath before I can let it out. I hear someone say, "Hey brother, how's it going?" in a soothing baritone. An officer had made his way to the platform, had reached the attic. There's no acrimony. There's no aggression. Just brother from an MTA police officer whose build was as daunting as his voice. "Hello, officer. I obey the law, officer. I respect the law. I'm just looking for a loose one." "That's fine," the officer said, "but I don't think you're going to find one here. You might have better luck somewhere else." By this point, they're both past me. The officer was herding the addict towards the up elevator, his broad shoulders dwarfing the small, broken man. They continue in a now inaudible conversation. The rest of the platform finally loosens up as the desperate energy dissipates like lungs after a fit of coughing. Everyone is free from having to face their reflections in the eyes of a hollowed one. We all have hollows, and hate to be reminded how close we are to becoming completely, tragically empty, looking for our own Lucies in a world that has none to offer. Okay, so my mother used to read tarot cards, and there's this whole trend nowadays with a lot of writers I've noticed, at least up in Baltimore, using tarot as, at the very least, inspiration. I myself will read my own cards for friends. So I do have a series of tarot-inspired poems. This first one is called Tarot for Beginners. "Draw a card before you go," she interrupts. Not stopping my story, I reach out and blindly pull one at random, laid face down between us. "You're not going to look?" she asks, smiling. Staring at the paper destiny I simply ignore. "I'm still talking here," I reply, "and if you can just keep your mind on that, when I'm ready, I'll flip it over. Otherwise, feel free to flip it for me." "Oh no," she replies, as her smile spreads to her eyes, and she glares at her neglected tarot. The card itself expands like a sponge, soaking in moisture, but I hold true to my word and wait until I'm ready. Flip. It's death. And we both start laughing. "Death doesn't mean death," she begins. It means change, I finish. "I know. My mother pulled tarot for friends when I was young. And you learned that lesson once." "That's right," she replies, finally looking me in the eyes, that sea of golden brown flecked green exploring what's inside me. What does she see? The fool or the hanged man? The hero or the zero? And why could I have drawn the lovers? I suddenly remember why, which makes me rise, say my goodbyes, and fly, before she has me draw another, like a tower, which would make the world crumble right before my eyes. 8 Blades, inspired by the 8 of Swords. You seek security, safety, freedom from the things of the world. Would that it were so simple, so easy to escape problems inherent in probability. I know you feel you have found a viable option, the one solution to making it through this cruel, cruel world, and it lies in the arms of another. Another who can offer a simpler life, a life free of the concerns the rest of us have to face head on. Do you truly not see? What you think is security, safety, freedom is merely an illusion, a mirage made specifically for you. You will enter that oasis only to learn too late that you are trapped in a desert, condemned to survive in a jail with no walls, surrounded only by a dry, lifeless sand for untold miles. Everywhere you turn, no water to bear. Everywhere you stare, no life to share. A prison disguised as paradise. My love, my love, my undying love, these are not my words, these are prophecies handed down by the gods. Your would-be jailer does not even believe in. 8 blades jammed into the sand, into the earth, driven deep within my heart, and you stand fastened to one, easily able to free yourself, but only by choice, only by will, only by the wisdom you try to deny. Please, please, my love, my one and only love, listen to my counsel. The answers you seek will not be found by looking for oases that do not exist, only within your own heart, within your own mind, within your own spirit, never in the arms of another too simple to understand the complexity of you. You know I'm right. Denial will serve no purpose except to drag out the inevitable and expand the pain someone will have to suffer in the end. The sooner you free yourself from this prison mistaken for paradise, this Iron Maiden of the mind, the sooner you can accept that you cannot substitute fate for destiny, the sooner you can begin to be the difference in this cruel, cruel world and not just one of its remainders. And last tarot-ish inspired poem, Alchemy. I'm just a fool, nothing, zero, crying at the back of the bus, muse blowing through my head. Because my muse is so far from me, drifting, still drifting away and toward the pain, weighs on me because holding up the sky alone is no easy task. Ask Atlas, shrugging is no option. So I cry, the fool, in the back of the bus, and I hide my tears behind her mirror shades, wipe with a wedding napkin, hoping that I might still have that chance at that dream, because that's what fools do, dream the impossible. Nothing is impossible for the fool whose muse finds the will to drift back to him, finds the words to awaken him, finds a way to infuse her power with his, power to transmute nothing into something, 0 to 1, to slay a fool, to make room for the mage. And I just want to close out with Snapshot. Here it is. All right, so it's probably, if anybody's ever seen me read before, this is probably my most requested poem. As a matter of fact, I'm reading it because I'm afraid Rocky might beat me up if I don't. So, inspired by one of the very few pictures I have of my family coming up. I grew up in right across the river from, right under the shadow of Lady Liberty, as you'll see. It's called Snapshot. Staring at the only photograph I have left. Easter, your head wrapped neatly in a paisley scarf, alabaster skin set off by the scarlet of your top, all 5 foot nothing of you dwarfing over the 3 of us. How small we were, and how as big as the world you seemed to us back then, holding Jojo's fragile little hand. Jojo, in his blue denim overalls with a strap dangling off his shoulder, and his Buster Brown do, free hand gripping one link of the chain link. Your other arm held hard against Kiki's heart. Kiki with her baby doll dress, and her baby doll smile, and her white knee highs. And there I am, the little man all grown up at 8 or 9 or whatever, hair as always waving wildly in the wind, styling in my plaid polyester belted lounge lizard jacket with matching bell-bottom bottoms, foot propped up, arms spread like I owned the world, like I knew I did. All of us there at the base of Lady Liberty, Manhattan, and its now extinct towers barely bursting through the fog, celebrating not God, not Jesus, not life, nor liberty, happiness, but love. The love we could squeeze out of this fucked up family that we shared, or accepted for better or for worse than that, because how can we forget those times? I stare at this, the only photograph I have left, and imagine the others, the ones I don't have, the ones lost, the ones destroyed, even the ones that never existed, like the picture I never took of you during one of your days, lounging and lost in your euphoria, hiding from problems I still don't quite understand. Sorry. technology. Days for days, I still don't understand. Like the picture I never took of you bruised, battered and beaten by whatever flavor of the month macho sick monster you were sampling. Like the picture I never took of you the day you cashed your first paycheck, leaving the drugs, the drink, the drunks, and the drama packed away neatly with your past. Or like the picture I never took of you bloated, bleeding, and bleached on that hospital bed, your past unpacking itself to prevent your progress, your present, your presence, your life briefed down to vital signs and bad mistakes you had already paid for with interest. Staring, as I tend to do quite often, more often than I like to admit, at the only photograph I have left, I am left wanting more. More than these fadey, foggy, fucked up fragments that I can't quite feel, these pieces of memory that float around my head, incomplete and inane, that I can't touch or hold or strum like a stringless guitar or cry on. They don't have the power of this picture, this one last picture where life was set aside one Easter Sunday just so that we could remember that even the fog could not hide the love captured at the base of Lady Liberty. Thank you.
Fernando! Yeah.